Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. We're going to talk about one big black swan event that could just ruin everything, could be possibly market ending and could possibly be world ending at its worst. What is this black swan event that TA and nothing can account for? Russia invading Ukraine. Now, this is actually getting more and more likely, and many military strategists are actually saying that if it happens, it's going to happen in the next month. Now, there are a lot in the community that think that Russia will want to work covertly and not act as the aggressor. But old Vlad, our old buddy Vlad, if he wants something done and he sees that the diplomatic measures and covert measures are working, he probably will send the troops in, and he's going to see if America will actually counteract them. Now, the last couple of administrations have been actually pretty friendly with the Kremlin. They've been focusing on China as the enemy, but it seems like Russia is just as much of a threat to the world. Now, China wants their thing in the South China Sea, and they make a bunch of hoopla about Taiwan, but they were never going to attack Taiwan anyways. Russia, however, could actually invade the Ukraine. They've been fighting like a disinformation war with Ukraine for quite a while now, and just undermining their government, their administration, and supporting kind of like an overthrow of the government. The CIA has been considering counterinsurgency, but we don't really know how successful that'll be. And Russia is right next to Ukraine. We would actually have to go overseas, and I don't really know if any of the other countries in Europe will actually stand up to Russia. My guess is not. And the thing is, if they do, and there's some kind of conflict, that will send the market into a spiral. Why? Most of Europe is dependent on Russia for energy. So in that case, energy prices would spike way up. You'd have like $5-6 a gallon gas. And it's not really something that the US can actually control the situation in Europe with Vladimir Putin, because Vlad will do whatever he wants. He could be Vlad the Impaler if he wants. I mean, Russia's real goal is to install a puppet government in Ukraine and rule it from the Kremlin. And things are getting really tight. Vladimir Putin is just as ambitious as Xi Jinping, and he's a lot more dangerous because Vladimir Putin is a lot smarter than Xi Jinping. He knows what he's doing. He's former KGB. They know their stuff. Xi Jinping has like an elementary level of education, and he doesn't actually understand China's strength and how strong or weak China is. Like if he tries to attack Taiwan, that could actually be the end of the Communist Party in China, because the U.S. would intervene. China would probably lose because their navy sucks, and then like there'd be discontent at home, and that might actually topple the regime. Vladimir Putin basically has Russia under an iron grip. He's also one of the richest men in the world. And the thing is, if he calls the Western allies bluff, the Western allies may not actually respond because, Europe's basically at his mercy in terms of energy prices. And no one else besides the United States could actually stand against Russia anyways. And obviously, you don't want to get an open conflict with another nuclear power, because that could be really bad. I mean, worst case scenario, US joins, it turns into a nuclear war, and that's not only market ending, that's world ending. You might just need a bunker in that case and not like a bunch of crypto, because a bunch of online crypto, once they EMP the satellites, that crypto will be useless at that point. And if they start launching the missiles, man, you're going to need a bunker really fast. So maybe you should get a small house in the countryside where they won't actually bomb you and get a bomb shelter. That could actually help you survive. But investments-wise, that is one black swan event that could actually happen. I mean, not the nuclear war part. I don't think either country's dumb enough to actually do that, hopefully. But the part where they can actually invade Ukraine, energy prices spike way up, and the market is just completely sent in a spiral and turmoil, which is going to be even worse than the COVID spiral last spring, because this is complete uncertainty. Like COVID spiral last spring, they could develop a vaccine, they could actually have preventive measures, and the government can print money to print their way out of this one. If there's an open conflict between two superpowers, even if it's a proxy conflict, we really don't know how that's going to turn out. The market's going to be very uncertain, and uncertainty makes markets go down. Plus, people are going to be afraid that they're going to start shooting missiles, and there's going to be real armed conflict between two major superpowers. They're going to send troops in that's going to bleed both countries out of money, and it could just be the reinitiation of another Cold War. I mean, I think that's what most people are afraid of. At least most strategists are actually afraid of. Like, the reinitiation of like another Cold War era. Not with China, but with Russia. And Russia, I think right now is the bigger threat because of Ukraine. I mean, China's internal policies, yes, the Uyghur stuff is really bad, but that's kind of like China's internal policy with their own provinces. Ukraine is actually an independent country right now that Russia's trying to basically reconquer or install a puppet government. So it's a little bit more serious. And plus, like, Ukraine is bordered right next to a lot of European powers. So the Western allies in Europe are very, very scared of that as well. Whereas Xinjiang, like, it's not I don't think it's that strategically important to like the Western powers. Taiwan and South Korea are a lot more strategically important to the Western powers. Kim Jong-un would be destroyed just like that if he tried anything stupid. And Xi Jinping, I don't think, will ever attack Taiwan because he actually sort of understands the situation right there. The reason he hasn't attacked is because he doesn't think he can actually win. But the thing is, like, Vladimir Putin probably thinks he can win, so he might actually attack Ukraine at this time, and that would send the markets and the overall investments into a spiral. So you might want to keep some money on the side just in case he does that, because I think there's at least a 20-30% chance that does happen, and that's like according to a lot of military strategists. That's just not my own opinion. That's the opinion of a lot of military strategists, that he will actually attack within the next month if it happens, and that could definitely be a huge black swan event. That's even worse than March of 2020. So keep that in mind. Maybe keep a little bit back, and that is the one event I could see right now that could completely tank the entire market and make our dreams go awry. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think, like and subscribe, and hit that bell notifications button. Thank you, and have a nice day.